the Great Akainu. You really have to call him that because almost everyone hates him. The reason for this is that he killed Ace and is also partly responsible for Whitebeard's death. He is simply someone who enforces the Marine's sense of justice by any means necessary, and that's why everyone hates him. Personally, I don't feel any sympathy for him either, but as a character, with his design and the fact that he is the ultimate bad guy who upholds the Marine's will, honestly, I think that's pretty cool. His character design and his role in Marineford showed that he is incredibly powerful. Actually, Akainu was supposed to die in Marineford. As you might know from my fact video, Oda originally planned for Akainu to die, but then he completely turned the tables and made him the one who took everyone down and ultimately became the leader of the Marines. That's pretty intense. But let's talk about his devil fruit. We really have to acknowledge how insanely powerful his fruit is. I truly believe he has the ability to destroy entire islands. We've already seen this partially on Punk Hazard, where he basically wiped out half the island's ecosystem. I think this is due to his fruit awakening, which means his fruit is already awakened. That means he fights as an awakened Lokia user. And then there's Akiji. This already says a lot about Akainu's character. He is highly experienced, not only with his devil fruit, but also with Haki. I think his Haki is on a level that Luffy can only dream of right now. That's why theories vary widely, like the idea that Sabo might be the one to kill him. Honestly, I wouldn't mind that at all. If Sabo were to eventually kill Akainu and avenge Ace, it would make sense. But honestly, I don't think Akainu will die. I believe we will still see him again, but in a situation where he himself feels uncomfortable, somewhere we've never seen him before. I think he will show weakness. Of course, he already displayed some weakness against Whitebeard, but that was more of a shocking realization like, oh shit, I'm screwed now. That was the kind of reaction he had in that moment, but I believe we will eventually see him in a truly weakened position, not necessarily crying, but maybe whimpering and begging for mercy. And at that point, his opponent, who I believe will be a good character, will spare him instead of killing him. I have my own theories about who will fight him, and there are many other theories out there too. But ultimately, I think this person will teach Akainu a lesson, and as a result, he might step down from the Marines after his defeat. Because we know that in One Piece, victory isn't just about physically defeating an opponent. It's also about crushing their dreams. Luffy, for example, doesn't just beat his enemies physically, he destroys their ambitions and shatters their will to fight. That's his way. He breaks his opponent's dreams, and in doing so, completely crushes their fighting spirit, showing them that he is superior, like saying, I'm above you, you little motherfucker. But guys, before I go off on a tangent, let's talk about the possible candidates for defeating Akainu. There are several names that always come up in discussions. One major contender is Shanks. He already drew his sword against Akainu once, and that's the only real hint we have that he might fight him in the future. If a major war breaks out between the Marines, the world government, and the pirate alliances, it's possible that Shanks, being one of the strongest, will take on Akainu directly. On the pirate side, Shanks is a strong possibility, but honestly, I think Akainu will be taken down by either Koby, Sabo, or Luffy. Here's why. Koby has already shown that he stands for true justice. Back in Marineford, he openly defied Akainu and was even ready to sacrifice himself just to stop the senseless bloodshed. He spoke up for what he believed was right, even though it could have cost him his life. Sure, he might have seemed a bit emotional, but that's understandable. His comrades were dying for no real reason. This leads to the idea that the Marines will eventually split. I believe there will be a good faction of the Marines, which would include Smoker, Koby, Sengoku, and Zuru, all of whom have shown a more balanced sense of justice. Now, if Koby were to take down Akainu, that would be a huge moment. Imagine him defeating the Fleet Admiral and eventually becoming the new Fleet Admiral himself in the distant future. That would be an incredible character arc. We've already seen that Koby has developed powerful armament haki. He was able to shatter Pizarro's massive rock hand with a single punch. This feat alone proves that Koby has come a long way in terms of strength, and if he keeps improving, he could eventually become strong enough to take on Akainu. The more classic theory is that Sabo will be the one to defeat Akainu, to finally avenge Ace. Some theories suggest that Sabo could evolve his Mira Mira no Mi, making his flames turn blue, which would make them hotter than magma. This would allow him to counter Akainu's magma fruit completely. There are even some cool fan-made images of Sabo with blue flames floating around online. While the Logia advantage makes sense, we know that Haki is what truly matters now. After the time skip, it's been established that as long as someone has stronger Haki, they can overpower a Logia user, no matter how powerful their devil fruit is. And that's where the real challenge lies. Akainu's haki is insanely strong. He enforces the Marine's will with absolute conviction, and in One Piece, the stronger the will, the stronger the haki. That's why I don't think Sabo is quite ready to take on Akainu yet. We already saw that Sabo struggled against Fujitora, so I doubt he could handle Akainu at this point. But I have to say, Sabo was at least keeping up with Fujitora. I'll go so far as to say that there wasn't a massive power gap between them. However, if I had to put my hand in the fire and choose, I'd still say that Fujitora was slightly stronger than Sabo. But that's mainly because Sabo is still much younger, meaning he has a lot of room to grow. That alone shows the huge potential that Sabo still has. He can continue training, improving and refining his haki. After all, haki can always be upgraded. There's no limit to how strong it can become. As long as he keeps strengthening his will, his haki will keep growing stronger as well. It's all just a matter of training. That's why he still has years ahead of him to develop even further. And that's why I truly believe that Sabo will be the one to take down Akainu. I don't think Luffy will fight him, even though some openings and even a 3D game trailer have hinted at a Luffy versus Akainu showdown. I just don't see it happening. There's also a theory that Sabo will die at Akainu's hands, just like Ace. But honestly, that would be such lazy writing. It would feel like Oda is just recycling the same tragic moment all over again. I don't think that will happen at all. Instead, I believe that by the end of One Piece, Sabo will become the leader of the Revolutionary Army. At some point, I think Dragon will die in a dramatic way, sacrificing himself for the revolution. And once that happens, Sabo will step up as the new leader of the Revolutionary Army, leading the fight against the world government. Luffy will also be involved in the final war, but ultimately I believe the Revolutionary Army will be the ones to bring down the world government and establish a new order. And in this new world, Sabo will take on a high-ranking leadership role. I'm not saying he'll become a single ruler like the Gorosei, but he might become something like the head of a democratic world government, a complete opposite of the corrupt system that exists now. And let's not forget one of Sabo's greatest achievements. He fought against Imu and the Gorosei and successfully escaped. This alone proves how powerful he has become. Facing the most mysterious and powerful figures in the world and surviving is no small feat. If Sabo was able to stand against them and still make it out alive, it shows that his strength is already at an insane level. I know this sounds a bit far-fetched, but I truly believe that One Piece will end with a world where justice is finally fair and balanced. And in that world, Sabo will have defeated Akainu once and for all. What do you guys think? Do you also believe Sabo will enhance his flames, turning them blue and making them hotter than magma? Or do you think something else will happen? Let me know in the comments. Or will it just be a crazy all-out haki battle, a truly insane fight? Or maybe Luffy will eventually face Akainu and go absolutely berserk in Gear 5 using ultra-powerful haki. Or perhaps, by that time, he'll even unlock true potential of Gear 5. Who knows? There are just so many theories out there. Let me know in the comments what you think. Who will fight whom, and when will it all happen? Well, the video ends here. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel. We will meet again with another amazing video. Until then, goodbye.